College football playoffs coming up on New Year's Eve. The Cotton Bowl game in Arlington, the Orange Bowl in Miami, hosting the national semifinals. Wendell Barnhouse has covered a lot of college football throughout the years for the Star-Telegram and Big 12 Conference, among others, and he joins us tonight. Top seed Clemson against number 4 Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl. Sooners playing about as well as anybody right now. I think they're the team I would pick to win it all. What do you think about this matchup and this Oklahoma team?
Really interesting and good matchup, Mike, because last year these teams met in the Russell Athletic Bowl. Clemson blew out Oklahoma. Clemson was playing its backup quarterback. Oklahoma didn't face Deshaun Watson, the quarterback for Clemson this year. And that game still sticks in Oklahoma's craw. And that game also kind of motivated Oklahoma for this season. So it'll be interesting. Ty Darlington, their center for Oklahoma, the touch tone for his iPhone so he can log in is 4006. He wants to remind himself about that game, and a lot of those Sooners still watch the ESPN telecast because the announcers were not kind to them, so they do have a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, and Clemson, of course, with a chip on its shoulder as well as an undefeated #1 team and an underdog in this game. But everybody's looking for an edge. Baker Mayfield went off on TCU today, feeling slighted because of the way he was recruited and then not signed by them. So everybody's got a little angle coming into a game like this, don't they?
And Mayfield not only has the edge of, the fact that he feels like he was snubbed as a high school senior, but he wasn't invited to New York. He didn't make the top 3 in the Heisman voting. So that's something that he's got going for him. And this will be interesting. It's 2 of the top 5 finishers in the Heisman, both quarterbacks. It's only the 11th time that 2 top 5 quarterbacks in the Heisman voting will match up. Last time that happened was 2008 when OU with Sam Bradford lost to Tim Tebow and Florida down in the Orange Bowl. So, yeah, this Oklahoma game against Clemson, it's pretty much of a toss-up.
In Arlington, then on Thursday night, the 2-seed Alabama against number 3 Michigan State. Bama, a big favorite, led by Heisman winner Derrick Henry, and an outstanding defense for Alabama's Nick Saban as well.
This is an old-school game, Mike. Both teams have fullbacks on the rosters, and they both run plays that use the fullback. In this day and age, that hardly ever happens. And it will really, I think, come down to Alabama's defensive front, which is one of the best in the country and maybe one of the best we've seen in the last 10 years against Michigan State. Connor Cook, the quarterback at the end of the year, his throwing arm, his shoulder was kind of banged up. He says he's now healthy. And he's got good memories of playing at Cowboy Stadium. Last year in the Cotton Bowl, they came back from a 20-point deficit to Baylor and won with Cook leading the way. So, this Michigan State team, they're another team with a chip on their shoulder. They, Sports Illustrated's issue about this game called the coach Mike D'Antonio, not Mark. Ooh. A little bit of a mistake that they had to correct. So Michigan State does feel like they're kind of the 4th team of the top 4 in the playoffs. So I think it's going to come down to both defenses, who's the better team. Michigan State has to stop Derrick Henry, Heisman Trophy winning running back.
Of course, us Iowa Hawkeye fans who are now in Texas agonizing over what might have been. But let's move on. Quick Big 12 note. Shut out of the playoff last year. They get OU in this year. There'll be a vote soon from the NCAA to determine whether the Big 12 can have a championship game even if it doesn't expand. Where do you see this thing going?
Well, 6 months ago it looked like a slam dunk. The NCAA convention will be in San Antonio the middle of next month in January. And the ACC and the Big 12 are sponsoring legislation to deregulate the rule regarding how many teams you need to stage a championship game. The ACC obviously has 14 teams in their membership. Big 12 has just 10. And they wanted to be able to say, hey, if we want to decide a way to play a championship game, maybe we don't want to have divisions if you're the ACC or if you're the Big 12, just be able to stage a championship game. The Big 10 and Pac-12 have kind of come out in opposition to this legislation just in the last month or so. So what seemed like a slam dunk as far as this getting passed may not get passed. Even if it does get passed for the Big 12, will they decide, okay, we have the ability to play a championship game? Do we have to? I mean, so far in the playoff era, 1 year of not getting a team in, 1 year of getting a team in, that's not really any kind of a trend to decide anything. So even if the legislation gets passed, they'll have to say, should we figure out a way to have a championship game? And even if you do, how is that going to work? It's not an easy thing if you don't go to divisions.
All right, fun week ahead in college football. Always great getting the insights of Wendell Barnhouse. I'm Mike Doocy, Fox 4 Sports.